And in order for society to get on board with me and to help me, we have to understand what's going on behind these walls. What's going on? Why don't the offenders, the inmates, the convicts, why don't they want to change? Why don't they want to get on board? Is there something going on that is stopping that? They've created a predatory market that makes our families pay for everything that's going on. I want to work on real solutions to these problems. How can we come together as a community and say, let's fix this? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Empire Podcast of the Week. I'm Steve Ogden, your host. It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys. It's actually been a few weeks since I recorded last, so let me tell you what's been going on. Been working on my art. Been acquiring other art from some other guys. I got a new pen pal who I met on the prison site, who is an amazing person. I want to give her a shout out, Rachel. Tell her I acquired a little homemade, handmade stuffed animal for your little one, Naomi. So look for that in the mail. Let's see what else is going on. Drawing a lot. I'm working on my portraits. Wanted to show you guys a little bit about that. As you can tell, it's not quite finished yet, but something I'm working on. I plan on collaging it all together with some smoke and stars. For those of you who don't know who are too young, and that's Marilyn Monroe, one of our iconic figures. So I've been working on her, collaging. I've got probably 60, 70 hours into that so far. There's 5 faces on it. It's almost done. I think I got about a week left on it, and then I'm hoping to have that up on the site where we can raffle it off. Maybe give me a little startup money for when I come home. Not much else really happening. Everything's been pretty calm, pretty mellow in this place. Luckily, blessed. We had a group from DUPI, which is the Prison Arts Initiative. They came in yesterday to meet with us, check out our art, talk about some programs that they have coming up. So shout out to DUPI for doing all that you guys do. We thank you for your part in reform. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff going on that we do. Let's talk about today's podcast and what the title is. Today is part 2 to prison gang life. I don't have the luxury of getting to watch where I left off last time, so if I'm a little if I talk about some of the things I already talked about, I apologize. But I think if I remember correctly, I left off, I was talking a little bit about my personal experiences as a gang member. I think I was right at the point where I was talking about I was in the hole. I had been kited out. Someone had wrote some kites on me. I ended up in the hole. I was talking to my father and an ex-girlfriend about dropping out. I made the right choice. I did it, man. I got out, and I think it's probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And it's still hard today because there's a lot that comes with it, you know. When you join a gang, I guess you could call it a contract. You sign a contract. Hey, you're never going to leave. You're in this for life, you know, blood in, blood out. And, you know, you don't get that choice to leave when you want, you know. And I think that's one of the hardest things, one of the reasons why these, you know, other adults, other people, they don't leave the gang once they get started. But I really want to touch on that because I talked about a contract. And when I talk about the contract, you only get to hear one side when you join a gang. You know, they don't tell you about all the BS, all the bullcrap that comes along with it. You know, of course, you know, family and DOC and everybody talks about, oh, don't join a gang, you know, you're going to get tied in for life. And, you know, you hear a lot of stuff from people that haven't been there. You don't hear all about the internal politics. You don't hear about how these guys that are supposed to be your brothers, your family, your homeboys, your homies, you don't hear about how they're going to rip you off. You don't hear about how they're going to steal from you. You don't hear about how they're going to tell on you later on. You don't get to hear about how they're going to set you up to take the fall for their stuff. You don't get to hear about all the negative bullshit that comes along with becoming a gang member. They only tell you, oh man, you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to be protected and you're going to have friends and they're there for life. And these guys are going to have your back through thick and thin. And no matter what you do, right, wrong, or indifferent, they're there for you. And you hear all this great stuff, man. And for the guys that missed out on having a family, and for the guys that, you know, don't have anything, don't have an education, don't know where they're going, no direction, you know, they don't have a big brother, they don't have, you know, they grew up in a neighborhood where they had homies, and, you know, that stuff's appealing, man. And all that stuff sounds good, man. I get to have a meal at the end of the night, I get to have money in my pocket, I get to have clothes, and no matter what, these guys are going to be there. But as time goes on, man, you get to learn that, you know, there's instances, and at the beginning, that's all true. Those guys, they're always there, you know, they'll fight with you, they'll do drugs with you, they'll sell drugs with you, help me. That's all true. But, you know, a friend of mine, they said, everybody has an expiration date in the gang world. Everybody has a best if used by date. You know, after about 20 years, everybody kind of goes bad. That's what the gang members say, you know, maybe not all, but, you know, and again, I'm going to disagree with that. I don't think everybody goes bad. I think after a while, you get to see what it is. You get to see all the bad shit that comes along with it. You get to see all the people that set you up and get you in jams and aren't there for you. You know, like you go to jail, they're out there sleeping with your girlfriend, sleeping with your wife. You know, one of the things that we'll be there to take care of your family if you go to jail. That's not true. I mean, maybe in some extreme circumstances you might have some really good people that are there, but don't get fooled, man. They're not there to take care of your family. They're there to try to sleep with your girlfriend as soon as you got your back turned. They're there to try to utilize all your resources as soon as you're gone. They're trying to, you know, your connects, your whatever you have. You know, I call it homie hustling, bro hustling. The agenda is bring a guy in that has money, bring a guy in that has connects, bring a guy in that you can take advantage of, you know, and that's what this gang life has really become, you know. I'm sure in some instances that I really didn't get to take part in, but, you know, there's people that grow up in neighborhoods where, you know, you're battling with other neighborhoods, and, you know, there's an extreme reason of why people join a gang. And I'm not here to knock that. I'm not here to say that they're wrong, or, you know, I just know that my personal experience with joining a gang was a nightmare, man. And in the beginning, it was, you know, it was fun. We were getting in trouble. It was us against the system. And then it became apparent really quick that it was more than that, you know. And one of my points I want to talk about is why is it so hard for guys to leave once they get into this game? And I think that the violence, once you get in this, like, you know, you are threatened with death and violence. If you leave us, if you turn your back on us, you're going to die. You're going to get smashed. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get killed. So who's going to want to leave that gang? You know, then you got the peer pressure. You know, once you walk away from a gang, everybody around you that you had as, you know, whether how small of a friend or how big, they're gone. Your person, your identity is caught up in that gang. My identity was caught up in my gang. You know, my nickname was Chaos, and I tell people, don't call me that. I still get called that all day long. You know, and it's hard to shake. Like, your identity becomes the gang. Your identity becomes the work that you put in, your reputation that you built, your reputation for violence, your reputation for hustling, your reputation for making money, your reputation for recruiting. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that comes along with it, man. And once that gang is gone, you don't have a bunch of people saying, oh, good job, man. You got a bunch of people saying pussy, bitch, lame, drop out. That's harder. I would rather get beat up than, you know, have to be surrounded by people, you know, mentally abusing, whatever you want to call it, you know, alienating, embarrassing. You know, it's really hard on a person when they walk away. They get it from all angles. Then where do you go when you go to prison? Or, you know, while you're incarcerated, you know, I was lucky enough to get moved to a gang dropout pod. Most of the guys in my pod are all ex-gang members. Some of them are here because they dropped out. Some of them are here because, other reasons. But once you become a part of this environment, people treat you very disrespectfully. They don't say, "Hey, you did the right thing. You left your gang behind. You changed your life. You're working towards a future. We commend you for that. We're going to give you, I wouldn't say, a lot of benefits to that, but, you would expect some sort of, hey, that boy, good job. Let's work towards getting other guys to do the same thing." That's actually the exact opposite of what I found has happened with this environment. The police, we get zero programs. DUPI came in to talk to us yesterday, and everything that they were talking about was the programs that they offer general population and not the gang dropout program or the gang dropout unit. They talked about everything they do for everybody else, but us. We get one program, we get one class, and it's a drug and alcohol class. And there's 5 guys, I think, or maybe a couple more. Don't quote me on the exact number, but we're lucky enough to get into a college course through the Trinidad State University, or Colorado. It's Trinidad. They're earning their associate's degree. 7, 10, maybe 10 at the most, we'll say. But there's no programs being offered or being any real help being offered. Now, what's my solution to that? Because I always talk about solutions. My solution is, hey, let's start recognizing that there's a lot of guys that want to leave the gang behind, and there needs to be incentives. This needs to be incentivized, because how many police officers, how many wardens, how many people that are involved in criminal justice reform say, hey, join a gang, stick with it, call shots, have people killed, bring in drugs, I don't ever hear that. I hear, hey, let's leave the gang life behind. Let's start moving forward. Let's change. I hear a lot of positive talk about moving forward, but action, I don't see it. I've seen videos on television for some of these locked up and TV shows where California is. These guys do videos and they say, hey, leave your gang behind. This is what you get. And they show how it's incentivized and all that. One of the things I found as, being, holding rank and being somebody within my organization, my ex-organization, what I found is the gang intelligence unit, they worked with me whenever they used us. Let me put it that way. They didn't work with us. They used us. If they wanted the yard calm, they would call the shot callers in and say, hey, this stuff's going on over here. We don't want it. We would say, hey, we'll leave our poker tables alone over here. Compromise. Okay, we'll leave your poker tables alone, but quit checking guys in. Quit beating these guys up. They start incentivizing gangbanging. They start incentivizing it. And all behind the scenes, they want to disrupt it. They try to talk us into dropping out and doing that. And when they do, and when guys do drop out, how am I supposed to talk to the guys that I want to talk to say, hey, man, there's something better than living that life? There's something more offered to us for doing the right thing and changing. Don't get me wrong. The best thing I ever did was leave the gang behind. It upsets me that I don't get programs. It upsets me that I don't have a lot of the stuff that I feel like should be available to me. And I miss out on so much more, but I'm not a gang member no more. And I'm not involved in what I was involved in before. And I don't have the constant drama. I don't have all the rules. I don't have all that going on anymore. So I'm not upset that I dropped out. It's the best thing I did. But I want to bring other guys over here. I want them to see that there's something more. So I think that Colorado needs to start a gang dropout program or a gang reduction program, whatever you want to call it. Colorado started a program. It was called GAP, Gang Awareness Program. It was inmates that started, it was convicts, guys that started it. It was all the shot callers across the state. They brought us all together. I was there. I was part of it. I had gotten into a fight and got kicked out. But there was no programming, like there was no big brother. There was no mentorship. It was a bunch of guys trying to do something. That's awesome. I mean, I'm not knocking it at all. It didn't work out. Meet back, brainstorm, think, and build something new. And that's what I want to see happen. I want to see Colorado lead the charge in doing this. You know, let's stop the security aggressors. Let's stop, you know, gang activity. And how do we do that? So when I was in Jefferson County Jail, I was offered by one of the gang officers, one of the gang unit police officers, to help start a gang reduction program in the Jefferson County Jail. They said, hey, you know, come up, develop a plan, give us an idea of something that would work, and what you think. Like, why did you join a gang? What did you see that would help others not take the path that you took? You know, so you know, I did some brainstorming. I ended up getting moved before it could happen, but I started looking at, you know, and talking to other gang members, like, hey, why did you join? What made you take this path? I looked at myself, you know, a hard, long look at, you know, and I came up with some really good ideas about mentorship, about Big Brother programs, about relationship groups, about parenting classes. You know, there's a whole slew of reasons why people join a gang, but it comes down to loneliness. It comes down to lack of family. It comes down to not really knowing how to have a real relationship, a real friendship. So my ideas were to bring all those other classes, all those other groups that really work on those points of emphasis, and bring them into one program that works on reducing gangs. You know, walking away from a gang as an adult, especially in prison, is near impossible. And of course, the idea would be to work with youth before they go down that path. And I'm sure there's a lot of programs. I know in Denver they have like GRASP, gang awareness. They've got GRID. They have some different programs that work towards working with youth. I don't know how many of those youth actually get to hear our stories. Hear stories from adults about what we've been through, and you know, I think that would be an amazing program, one that started with dropping out, joining a program, going through classes, going through groups, and then as time goes on, earn some trust, have some growth, and then start working with youth in a Big Brother mentorship program, at risk, you know, and being able to give back, because I really believe that would be the way to go, and I have a lot of thoughts on that, and I would love to start. I would really love to start a program like that and help be a part of it. I'm hoping that Jefferson County still holds that idea that they want to do that, and is willing to, you know, consult with me when I get out, which is hopefully soon. That really kind of leads me at a stopping point. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about personal experiences on my next podcast. I want to talk about the gang that I joined. I want to talk about white supremacy a little bit, and how, you know, those were my experiences. So next week's podcast, I want to be on 211 crew, the ins and outs, the entirety of it. I want to talk a little bit about other white gangs, prison gangs mostly, the differences between them, the dangers of them, you know, and I just kind of want to give a rundown about my personal experience with it, all the way through from start to finish. So look for that next week. Thanks for being here, and you guys have a good week. Take care.